It's getting real. I can see my breath, and it's just the middle of the afternoon, so who knows what that means in the middle of the night, how cold it's going to be. It's what those nice UGG house slippers are for. Keep those feetsies warm. Hey, have you ever struggled keeping a positive attitude? Have you ever struggled walking by faith in a seemingly hopeless situation? Have you ever needed comfort when you were downtrodden or frustrated? I have. I've walked through depression 2 or 3, 4 times in my life, sometimes longer seasons than others, sometimes required medical assistance, sometimes not, medical being like pharmaceutical help and things. And so when I talk about this idea, just know that it's not from ignorance, but from a place of experience and a place of hope and a place of thanksgiving. But I think, in my opinion, part of the reason a lot of times people suffer from depression, anxiety, and things like that is they have chosen to set their minds on the things that aren't necessarily appropriate to set their minds on. They set their minds on the news, they set their minds on the social media things showing what other friends or acquaintances are doing, and it creates this thing that goes on in our soul being our unique personality, our mind, our will, and our emotions all kind of cogged up there together. And so by setting my mind on the wrong place, all of a sudden I feel anxiety, I feel frustration, I feel out of control. And if you notice, the word that I was using was the word I feel. And anytime I hear a friend or anybody say something, I feel like blah, 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 I realize there's a good chance they're not thinking right because they're starting with their feelings. And I think if you really want to manage your soul in an interesting way, you start with a thought, you take that thought captive, is what the scripture says, to see whether it's true or not. And if that thought isn't true, you need to reject it and immediately replace it with the truth, because that starts spinning you in the right direction. Because if you process thoughts mind, then in other words, you think about it, then you act with your will and let your emotions catch up. You're going in the proper, I'd call that the clockwise direction with your thought process. But if you start with a feeling and then you act on it with your will and then think about it afterwards, you're going counterclockwise, and that way of thinking is more prone to an anxious mindset. It's more prone to a depressed mindset. It's more prone to a defeated kind of thought process, for which I'm not judging or anything. I'm just saying I've been there, done that, and I've paid the price for that. And so what I was thinking about this weekend is in Philippians 1:3, Paul says, I thank my God in all my remembrance of you. And that little verse, it's not quite as short as Jesus wept, but it's a short verse. It's really an antidote from thinking incorrectly. So if you find yourself thinking incorrectly, one of the things you can do is begin to be thankful and then begin to specifically pray prayers of thanksgiving, particularly for people. Who can you pray that you're thankful for? And for me, there's a whole laundry list of those people. And as I began praying for those people, all of a sudden I've reset my thought process. And by resetting my thought process to go mind, will, I will to pray for these people, all of a sudden my emotions begin to settle down for whatever was incorrect in my thought process. And so when Paul says, I thank my God for you and all my remembrance of you, he's saying that from a place where he's handcuffed with a prison guard, in prison, held against his will. That's kind of a depressing situation. And yet when you read the book of Philippians, you'll find one of the most joyous books in the entire Bible. And he says that from a place of thinking properly, setting his soul on fire for the things that are of importance. So today, as you look at the future, as you look at this holiday season, begin praying prayers of thanksgiving for those who are important to you. And do it with a smile as you're praying to God. And in the meantime, I'll be thankful for you guys that you might walk by faith. And have a great day.